Hello, and welcome to James and the Frames. I'm your host, James, and here I talk about some of my favorite frames ever filmed. Now, today's episode is somewhat different, being that the film I'm going to talk about just got a wide release last week. Normally, I discuss films that have some years to their name, but this week I had to make an exception for what is one of the best independent dramas I have seen in recent memory. The Killing of Two Lovers, directed by Robert Machoian, hopefully I'm pronouncing that correctly, is about a man who is desperately trying to keep his family together during a separation from his wife, and the mental distress it causes him when they agree to start seeing other people. First off, I have to shout out Bruce Tetsuya from The Dance of Cinema for bringing this film to my attention. He's been championing it for quite some time on his account, and now I can see why. I really enjoyed this one, guys. From the first opening minutes, it really grabbed my attention, and as the story progressed, that grip got tighter with every passing scene. The Killing of Two Lovers is a gripping drama that has amazing and honestly surreal performances, incredible cinematography, which I'll touch on in a second, and a chilling score that gave me Mark Corvin The Witch vibes. Also, this review is going to be spoiler-free, being that the film just got a wider release, so have no worries. To start off, the story's pacing is, I wouldn't think of a better word than perfect, but there wasn't a moment that dragged for me at all, which is something about this film that some people may disagree with. The execution of those moments and scenes is very natural and patient, with long pauses between dialogue and moments where the camera just lingers and observes what the characters are doing on screen. And these moments are beautifully shot, being that the cinematography here is framed excellently. Long takes where the blocking is so well done. It takes a lot of effort to line up your actors in just the right spot to get the right shot. And it really feels like each scene was done in one take, which leads me to the performances. The main character David is played by Clayne Crawford, who is incredibly captivating to watch. To see his emotional struggle and toll the situation is taking on him is heartbreaking, and he really gives it his all, especially as the film nears its closing moments, which has one of the best long-take performances I've seen in recent memory. The rest of the cast does amazing as well. Sepideh Moafi, playing David's partner Nikki, does a fantastic job alongside Crawford. Their scenes together go from 0 to 100, and I was definitely engrossed in their work. Chris Coy, who plays the outsider in David and Nikki's relationship, man, he plays the dirtbag type so well. Chris, you have such a punchable face in this one. That's how good he plays his part. The child and teen actors do great, too, for their age. And might I mention, while we're on the subject of performances, not a single moment felt forced. That's another thing I loved about The Killing of Two Lovers. You're really given a bird's eye view of a man's crumbling trust in himself and his relationship. And it all comes so natural. I can say the same thing about the script. The writing is charming, intense, and almost improvisational in its execution. Every character in this film feels like someone you could run into at the supermarket or pass by while you're on your way to work. And going back to the improvisational nature, it's present in every type of scene. For instance, there's a scene between David and his father that's hilarious. That sounds like a father-son conversation, just exactly like that. And another that's an argument between David and Nikki that is uncomfortable to watch because it feels like a couple arguing. And what adds to these scenes even more is the 4:3 aspect ratio, which is a brilliant way to showcase the trapped feeling that David has in his situation, as well as the film's score, which is quite harrowing and haunting, consisting of evil violins and groaning sound effects that really give you an uneasy feeling. The best way I can describe the presentation of this film is that it's like watching a home video, but it's of a broken home. if that makes any sense. And folks, I think The Killing of Two Lovers definitely deserves your attention. If you have a chance to catch it this week, please do. It's available on Amazon, YouTube. I can't believe you can watch movies on YouTube now. I didn't know that until now. Wherever it's streaming, please check it out. It's really good. It might not be for everyone. You're definitely not going to feel fantastic after watching, but it's still a gripping drama that is now one of my favorite films of 2020. Now, before I sign off here, I'd like to make a super special announcement. As I mentioned at the end of my previous episode, I'm not quite done talking about Star Wars for the month of May. So for next week's episode, I'm having Abby from the Star Wars Instagram account Star Wars Parallels to join me in discussing the prequel trilogy and the Clone Wars animated series. I'm super excited that she's coming on. I've followed her account for a super long time. She does amazing posts. Please go check out her account. She really brings out the feeling in Star Wars and how important it is to each and every one of us. So we'll definitely be discussing in depth, so look forward to that coming next week. That's also one of the reasons why this episode is a bit shorter. So I was going to ask you guys, should I bring back Q&As? Feel free to message me on my Instagram or Twitter account, which is @James24Frames, or comment down below if you're on YouTube. It might be fun to get back into that segment of the show. I definitely had fun answering your questions, and I wouldn't mind going back to that format. But for now, this has been another episode of James in the Frames, and I will see you after the credits.